Hi guys, and welcome back to Factorio Vanilla. This is episode 19. So today we're going to be building our new furnace area in this zone by here. And to do that, we're going to have to do something fun first of all, and start a forest fire. Because these trees are just in the way and we don't want them. So if we just burn the lot, and hopefully not set so much of ourselves on fire either. And I think that it might be worth getting rid of at least one of these bases up here as well. So let's see, how close can I get without getting mauled? Not close enough. Right, that could have gone a little bit better. Gonna have to give that a minute or two for our health to recover, and we still managed to kill off the one spawning base up there. So we might have to go back and finish that other one in a moment. Let's see. No, we didn't even manage to kill the first one. In that case, I think we should leave that for now, and we can always come back to it afterwards when we've got better armour. So we've taken care of most of the forest now with this, just get a few last bits that we missed. And clear out the last few trees because we don't need those. I've gone ahead between sessions and grabbed a few electric furnaces, some belts, and we should have some inserters somewhere along here. Yep, we've got some inserters there. So that will give us enough then to actually get everything started. Burn that. And mine this at the same time. Get everything started with setting our rows up. Probably going to set up 2 rows for iron, 2 rows for copper, and I'm not sure if we actually need another row for steel yet. Probably leave that one for the time being, because we seem to be producing enough steel with what we've got. But my inventory is full, so we can't insert that wood. Well, I'm glad that I didn't burn myself there. So hopefully all those will disappear, and looking at this, where do we want to lay things out? Well, I think having it coming down here is a good plan, and we want to feed it into this gap by here eventually. So if we run our outputs down first of all, we can then see how they all line up. So this one I think can be our iron input, or output from the furnace area, and this one will be our copper output. We could in the future look at expanding these, so I'll keep this 2 gap in the middle, but we will expand things on the left and right as we need to. We've run out of belt already, that's not the best of signs. Can we make some? Not really. Well, we'll have to just make do with what we've got then. Actually, rather than making do with what we've got, let's grab some more and we can... Yeah, just grab some more for now, and that should give us enough then to actually continue with for the remainder of what we need. So, how much can we pick up? Not enough, and that's half the problem. So if we dump some of this in a box up here for a moment, we're not going to need the bricks just for a second, we're not going to need the rail right now, so that gives us space to grab all the rest of the transport belt there. Okay, heading back up again. I've mentioned in a couple of videos there are ratios to things like this, and if I remember right, the ratio for smelters would be 24 stone smelters on a yellow belt, or 12 electric smelters or steel smelters on a yellow belt. Obviously, if you go up to red belts and blue belts, you can extend the smelting area because they can travel faster down the belt and get out of the way faster. But for now, do we want to go with that? We could do, on the assumption that we're going to move up to red belt fairly quickly, but I think just for the ease of brevity, we'll start off with 12 and then we can always expand afterwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This will input then into here, or output to there rather. And if we run this down on this side, now I could do something fancy and try braiding the belt or something like that, but I'm not going to just for a moment. Instead, we will have our inputs here and here. In fact, we can cut that off there and there. And we are going to have not necessarily the most efficient way of doing it. I'm just trying to work out what I want to do. I will do it like that for now, but we might come back and change things later on. So while this one will pack both sides of the belt, these two rows will only pack the one side of the belt, which is not entirely efficient. So what we want to do at the end of the belt is then bring it back in and link them together. So if we bring this across here, and this can then come out and into where? If we take this out instead, take that in and down, and that can come down as well. And that's our iron area done. Now I realise that I've actually used up almost all of my furnaces with this, so we might have to wait a second before we can get more furnaces, but that's okay. In the meantime, we can put down the splitter, which will actually work as a merger in this case, and put an underground belt in for that. So, having put the iron on this side, do I now want to run the copper over to here and start the copper going that way? I think so, because that will give us room, if we look at the larger map again, to really expand our iron input quite a way over this direction and our copper over this direction over time if we need to. And just as I say that, I've just spotted a group of biters running down, probably going through the edge of the forest there, yes. So let's surprise them as they come out of here, and I want to be careful not to set the forest on fire, because that would be a bad thing. So here they come, emerging from the trees. And our turrets would have taken care of them, but, you know, it's fun to jump in the way of these things sometimes. So we're going to need more furnaces, and that's a piece of technology just finished, so we'll take a look at that in a moment and find out what we want to plan next. But in terms of grabbing some more furnaces, they're placed right at the end of the line, so we need to run all the way down here again, over our divider in the centre of the base, and grab some furnaces from here. So we've got another 100 nearly, so that'd be plenty for filling off what we need. So let's stop for a second and set up which technology we want next. So we've just finished robotics, which means that we're well on our way to getting construction robots and logistic robots. I think we probably want construction robots next, because that will lead us into blueprints, it'll lead us into things like personal roboports, and that will allow us to start scaling up the factory fairly quickly. So we do need to make a few things before we can actually prepare these, but getting the technology ready will allow us to actually do that at our own pace. So one of the things we're going to need before we can make them is actually to finish scaling up our input of resources, because at the moment we're just starving the factory. So, same sort of thing here. We'll have an output to the copper belt. Take out this tree and this one because we don't need them anymore. And that's the wrong place. So this becomes our input. Smelting area. Another smelter. And we need a fourth smelter? Yes, that's right. So in a moment I'll put some lights in so you can actually see what's happening. So let's just get all these furnaces in place first, and then we can start lighting the place up. So we are looking relatively good here. And of course, since these things are all blueprintable, we can actually set them up in such a way that from now on, whenever we need to expand these, we can just get the robots to build them for us. But if this one comes down a little bit, and what we'll do is we will run it, take that out, run it under here, and we'll actually set it for 4 belts to begin with. Or will we? Actually, put it down here instead. So it will go from there to there. Get rid of these. And where have my underground belts gone? There they are. So I'm trying to future-proof this a little bit by giving room to expand along here, although actually I realise I've done that on the wrong side and it should have been down here, but with a little bit of rewiring, rebelting, we can sort that out if we need to when the time comes. So that can go to there, this can come down, and we can bring this one down as well. And what we're going to do is take that out, no, wrong direction, that way. We'll put another splitter lane here, and we will have that jumping over, and then this continuing on this side. So these 2 lanes have now been merged correctly, and that lane should be full from the start. So after that, we still need to put our inserters in, and this might not be enough inserters, so we might have to stop temporarily and just fill up on inserters again. But once again, we will see what we can do. But we're actually entering into the... I know it doesn't seem like it yet, but we're actually entering into the... Oh, lighter. And furnace on fire. That's not brilliant. Will the furnace survive? Yes, just about. But the belt didn't. So that was a little bit silly of me. And it's also a sign that we're going to need some turrets up here fairly quickly, which means we need to get power up here fairly quickly. I will leave that for a second, try and finish off what I'm doing just for a moment, and then as quickly as I can after that I will sort the power situation out. But I think this highlights the need to make some better armour after we finish doing the smelting. And then we can start to take out some of the bases that are encroaching rather too close for comfort, really. And that's not going to be quite enough, is it? No, we can't make any more either. So, what do we want to do? I think we have no choice but to put that there and try and leave our laser turret up here for defence. There you go, hopefully that will protect the thing from anything that comes down just for the time being, and as we start to properly power the whole lot we can put some more defences in and keep the whole thing a little bit safer. Now we need more fast inserters, so if I remember right they should be over here somewhere, and I imagine we don't have a huge number of them because we just don't have, nope, we just don't have enough resources coming down to make them quickly enough, so that's a problem. So what I'm going to do is grab that, grab some of this, and a whole load of green circuits, and we'll just have to make them by hand while we're running around still. So we've already done everything on the left facing side. We can now connect up the right facing side, put the power poles in, and then this will all be ready to start work. I'm not expecting our current input to actually fill all this for the time being, and there you go, we are out of blue circuits. I'm not expecting our current mineral input to power all this for the time being, or to fill all this for the time being, but by having it as much as we do, we've got inbuilt redundancy now so that we can start to expand the factory and get more belts piling in as we need them. I suspect this still won't be enough inserters, but it will do more or less what we need to. Or we might just have enough, you never know. There you go, we had 2 left over, so that's brilliant. And do we have enough medium inserters, medium electric poles? Again, we didn't quite have enough because we haven't done this output, but that's okay, we can come back to that in a second. So, I didn't space these very well, did I? Because we've actually ended up using rather more medium power poles than I would have liked to have used for this. Whereas if I'd moved some of the inserts around, we could have quite drastically reduced that. Never mind, just got to learn from that and do it slightly differently next time. So, I think keeping it on the left is probably actually what I want to do in future, so forget that line, that's an aberration, we will do it differently on the next one. Will we have enough to complete this? I think we won't. And that can be blamed on me having got the positioning wrong on some of these. No, we're not going to have enough to do this side as well. But that's okay, because it doesn't have any inserts anyway. Okay, so this is all now hooked up. I probably should put some lights in there, and again we are desperately short on everything at the moment because our production just isn't keeping up with our demand. Speaking of, how are we doing for power? Well, at the moment we're not doing too badly because lots of things are shut down, but we are going to want to increase our power once we start getting all of our resources up and running again. So I think one final stretch of trying to build the bits we need, and I really need to put in an automated lamp production somewhere, don't I? So let's make those for now, and we need more iron in order to make the fast inserters. Okay. So if we put one of these above each power pole, that should light the place up reasonably well. In fact, that might even be too many lights, but you never know. I'll try and keep them on this side as well, because that's where we want our power poles to be eventually. That one doesn't belong there. And these two spaces will just have to go without for a moment. So we've now got lights to the whole area. We don't have any inputs coming to them yet. We might have to take care of those in the next episode. So I think just to finish this one off, I will hook them in at this end, and then we'll end this episode here, and in the next episode we'll work towards actually getting raw resources into those zones. I realise actually I've made a bit of a mistake with the orders for these, because we've got our copper coming in on this one and our iron coming in on this one. So I think between episodes I'm going to sort that out. But for now, that's about it. So take care, and I will see you next time.